Alright, we have part 3 of the tips for beginning pipe smokers. This is going to be my how to clean pipes video, and as you can see I have quite a few saved up for this job. So I just wanted to do a quick little introduction of some of the tools and containers and things of that nature that I use. So your standard pipe tool. This one was actually a pretty unique one where this one actually will help a lot more with scraping off some of the cake. It's got obviously that and the tamper. I mainly use it just for that part. This is a pretty unique tool that I found in an antique shop, and I'm not entirely sure what the actual make, design, usage is for this, but I use it to bore out the inside of the briars to unify, basically get the same diameter going and clean out some of the gunk, and if not, drill a little bit of the wood away. This is a glass container brush that I chop down. Sometimes you get those like really stiff, really nasty gunked up pipes, and this kind of helps to break those free, and I like to use that every once in a while. And these are some of the carbon transfer pipe toolie bobs that I made just out of pipe cleaners, and you'll see how I use those. I've got, you know, bristle cleaner on a spool over here, and then I've got my my lovely rag that I use to just clean anything that I need to clean. I've also got the Decatur Remol tool. And most of these I shouldn't have to use this on, but if I find one, I'll definitely use it. Helps breaking down the cake. I've got a container of scotch. I just like using that, breaking in new pipes and cleaning them up, sanitizing them. And then this solution is, when I use the Remol, I saved all of the carbon from it, from all my old pipes, and mixed it with some scotch, so it's just this gunky carbon cake thing, and I like to use one of these to kind of dip it in there and then swash the inside of the cake to help build it up if it's really in need of something. I just got a bunch of pipe bits in today, not today, this weekend sometime. They're a little bit too chewy. You know, I put it in my mouth for 2 seconds since I already got dents in it, so I don't really like that, but I got about 350 of them for 12 bucks from China, so I can't really complain. And then I don't know why I do this, I just do this. I keep all my ashes and unspent tobacco and all that jazz, and I don't know, I'll find a use for it, but I keep it in this airtight jar, so you'll see me dumping stuff into there. So well, let's get started on this one that I did today. So smoked this on my way here back from work. Got a random penny there. And so what you want to do, normally I've been leaving the ash in my pipes until I'm ready to clean it, and so you just want to get that all out of there. Give it a little tap, a little bit of untouched tobacco in the bottom there, which I'll show you why I do a specific packing method, because that happens a lot. You don't always smoke it all the way down. And so basically what my method of packing is, I put the first pinch is tobacco that I don't really enjoy, some stuff that I just have lying around that I don't really like having around, and I'm actually in the process, here I'll go grab it, of drying it out right now. So I've had the lid off of this for a little while, and slowly but surely it's getting there. This is Brigadier Black Sherman's March. I don't know, it's kind of almost aromatic. Not the biggest fan, so I just didn't really want to use it anymore. And so I'm gonna let that dry out a little bit more. I usually put my first pinch down with it, because it'll help catch the moisture from the other your good blend that you're smoking on top of it. And so I've got all these random other pipe cleaners. I'm just going to get these out of the way. They're all kind of half dirty, something like that. I just have them just because. Normally I use my little clippers here, and I've got a spool of bristle pipe cleaner that I normally use when I'm actually cleaning. But I mainly use dirty ones for inside the bowl, just because it doesn't need to be a clean pipe cleaner to do that. And I actually believe that it helps build better cake if you actually let it go. I got a little needle nose for pulling a really gunky one. Sometimes you get it through and it's just nasty. So normally I like taking my stems off. There's a few pipes where I can get away with just shoving the whole thing through it, but I basically you just want to run this through it quite a bit. And this stem is actually pretty stiff in the end here. It's a square one. Sometimes they do a square cut on the inside. It's harder to get a pipe cleaner through it. But having this bristle pipe cleaner really helps. And there's a bit of gunk from 2 smokes today with it. And yeah, the bristle stuff really helps with breaking down some of those inner walls. Sometimes it gets really gunky, and a regular pipe cleaner is just gonna kind of scratch it a little bit, but this stuff is really just goes in there. And I don't like getting this stuff on my hands as much as possible. Oh man, this is real gunked up. And so I'll use my little needle nose just to grab it and work it through. That is gross. So I'll clip this dirty stuff off. And this is kind of the advantage of using the spool, because you get to just keep working. You don't have to. You use what you have to use, and then you can keep going at it. Hey, quiet. Just gonna get that pretty roughed out. Not quite perfect. And then clean the inside of the bowl, obviously. Get all that out. And typically you want to clean your pipe every use. This one I didn't even clean it in between smokes. I just wanted to see what it could do. It started out perfectly clean though. So now I'm going to do my carbon cake sticky paint thing. Just going to swab a bunch on there. Rub it around the inside here. So all of these pipes are freshly bored, which kind of scares me, and this is kind of why I'm doing this, because it actually does help build a nice quick layer of cake. And then if you basically are just baking it on when you smoke, you just have to let it dry long enough, which is actually pretty cool. I'm glad I kind of figured this out. As you can see, it's kind of nice and in there. And I normally don't have to do too much on the outside of my pipes. If I bring them all in together, sometimes they'll get a bit of ash on them, and I just wipe it down with this rag. Never really cleaned this rag, which is kind of cool. It's kind of got that specialness going to it. Some people might think that's gross. I like it. I like the bit of sacrament that pipe smoking does, and kind of leaves layers. You build layers on itself. So this one's done. I'm gonna set that to the side, and then we go to the next one. I usually I have a lot of I have like 50. Now I'm into the 60s now for my pipe count, and I get all mine used from flea markets and antique stores, antique fairs. And lately I've got this guy that's actually been hunting them down for me, which is a pretty cool relationship. Get some of that ash out of there. So with cobs, you don't really have to clean as much as briars. Some people will fight me on that, but honestly, you can smoke these till they die. Obviously clean the stem, but usually they're bored wide enough where you don't even really need to. I can smoke it all day, and after that I'll clean it. But yeah, they don't need quite as much attention, and that's kind of one of the big factors that people like about that. Get some of that carbon off of there. And she's pretty clean already. This one I actually put a dime. I was starting to burn through on the bottom of this pipe, and I actually threw a little bit of tobacco down and stuck a dime down the actual bowl, and just above or just below the draw hole, and it totally saved this pipe. She wasn't too dirty, and the way I, cleaning every month or so, they don't really get to be as dirty. It kind of dries up before you get to it most of the time. So again, this is just a solution of some cheap scotch and a lot of carbon from other pipes cake. So it's all mixed together, and it's been working pretty well for me. Kind of helps build that layer. Cobs don't really build much of a layer. It kind of just slowly burns through. So I like giving it as much help as possible. And I haven't really needed to use this tool on them yet. I finally went through all the new ones I got, and they should be pretty good. But in the event that I can't get a pipe cleaner through it, I like having that option to kind of bore it out. Another useful thing I like about this rag is that when you have stingers and stuff, when it gets all gunked up, it's nice and easy just to wipe that off instead of using a pipe cleaner for it. It just gets a little dirty, but it dries onto there pretty well. And when I do my my first break-in of the pipe, I'm a little skeptical. All mine are used, like I said, so it's a bit of a longer sanitizing process, but after you smoke it a few times, it's basically just your pipe now, and I like my pipes as clean as possible, but at the same time, I know that it's only been me smoking it, so I don't really have to worry as much. I like to use some of that tobacco juice that's when you're done cleaning, that all this brown stuff to kind of go into the bowl, clean it up a little. Most of the ash and everything sticks to it pretty well.